Heyo, I'm Raina Harper, and welcome to EveRe-Watch Way, where I podcast a spell that takes a hold of you, for the show where I reminisce and recap the Nickelodeon fantasy series Every Which Way. We cover each episode of the show here, and I go into detail, oftentimes with guests, on everything relating to what happens in the show, what I remember from keeping up with it in 2014 and 15, and all the fun knowledge and commentary I can bring in with it. And so, I certainly think that this is a fun production to observe and pick apart in terms of what works and what doesn't. And today we have on someone who's intimately familiar with media production and with broadcasting. Live from Britbong land, as it were. Welcome to my excellent friend Rylee.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm excited to be on the show.
Thank you so much for taking the time. It's been it's certainly been a long time since we've talked. Certainly like voice to voice, it hasn't been like since I graduated from when we attended the University of New Mexico several years ago. And Rylee's been doing great work since then. She's a filmmaker extraordinaire, award-winning former executive director of UNM's Southwest Film Center, major film festival intern, and current Queen Mary University of London grad student.
You definitely talk a big game for me.
Well, I certainly think pretty highly of all you do.
Oh, thank you.
And anything you want to share about what you do and what you're involved with currently?
Yeah, sure. Like Raina said, I'm a filmmaker and an academic, so currently I am getting my master's degree in London. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I love Albuquerque, which hot take, I know. So many people hate Albuquerque, but I really do enjoy the culture and I enjoy living there, and I'm sad, like I'm homesick every day since I've been here. But currently now I'm studying directing fiction because I want to be a director in the future, as well as a professor and film festival organizer. So I do a lot of work with film festivals.
Heck yeah. Don't badmouth Albuquerque too much. It's the home of Breaking Bad. As if you were there for any length of time, that fact will get drilled into you.
Oh goodness, the amount of Breaking Bad stuff here in London alone is crazy.
Yeah, just mention that you're adjacent to Albuquerque and people will ask about Breaking Bad.
It's Breaking Bad or High School Musical. I get either. I really love that I'm a part of the generation that it's usually High School Musical first now.
Yeah.
Where they're like, where they shot High School Musical. And I'm like, they didn't shoot it there.
No.
It's just set there.
And, speaking of fiction for children set in high school, today we're watching episodes 3 and 4 of Season 2 of Every Which Way. Love Pie Redux? Redux? Neither... Whatever. And Powers by Proxy. Yeah, we're carrying over into Season 2. Last week I, of course, had our my excellent friend Tanner Dykstra on, and we shared a lot of fun commentary. And so I'd love to ask you, Rylee, top line, when I approached you with the idea of doing this, did you have any impressions at all of what it would be? Did you expect to enjoy this, and did you end up enjoying it? What were your biggest takeaways?
Yeah, so my first initial impressions when you asked me about this, I was pretty stoked because I was like, oh my goodness, I have never heard of this show. I definitely want to watch it and talk about it. This seems like such a great opportunity. When I first watched it, I went, oh, what is this?
What is this? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what? And I was shocked because I started doing research on it after watching the first episode, because I was like, is this from America? The American Nickelodeon? Because it definitely...
I get what you mean.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't read in the same line as like iCarly or like Victorious or Wizards of Waverly Place. That's like Disney, but you know what I mean. I was like, oh.
Yes.
And I was like, this feels like a telenovela. And I came to find out...
Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it's based on a telenovela, and it is a telenovela just set in America.
You're not the first person to, like, make a lot of those observations that I've spoken to. Like, whoa, In particular, last time my friend Tanner said this feels like low rent, doesn't it?
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, what? Were they shooting this on a DSLR? Like,
And yeah, and I suppose I should have gotten across my intention of like even doing this like retrospective in the first place, because I do treat it like, well, as much as I do like have genuine nostalgia for it, I also even back then there was a huge part of it of like picking it apart and like, isn't this ridiculous or dumb and such.
yeah, definitely.
So maybe if I had communicated that better, it would have been like less shocked, I suppose. Um,
I think the shock was perfect. I think I needed the shock. I
it
think
is
that
fun,
was the
yeah,
best way to do it.
yeah, um, and and not just like the and I understand like with this show like having a very serialized nature built like plot elements like just building on each other as you could like, and you essentially like have to follow the whole thing. I recognize, met many of my like people dropping in like you are or like at a disadvantage, but 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 and I can see why it hasn't been like syndicated too much. um it it doesn't have the quality where you can just pop in and like show one episode at a time.
I disagree. I think it is easy to follow. Like I think they give good exposition in the dialogue that you kind of know what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. So I think
Sure.
yeah, I think it is good to drop in, but I do personally like that it builds on itself and it's not like standalone episodes. I think that's
Right.
really innovative in kids television.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that as a criticism per se. Just you say that like it's like you can drop in just fine. Like I will say like having gone through like the whole first season thus far, certain episodes are like easier first watches than others. That's my impression. I there's there's a whole plot line in the first season about kidnapping an iguana, and Maddie thinks that the iguana is Daniel transformed, and then she transformed into it by her, and then she forces the iguana to enact like romantic situations with her, like going on picnics and
Okay, that's definitely harder to follow. Yeah, maybe you just made it easy on me.
well, it's just luck, as luck would have it, where we are now, at like what point we are. Um, it
That's
no,
crazy. Where'd they get the production budget for an iguana?
I know, right? They always say in film production or TV and whatever, never work with children or animals. That this did both.
This entire show is just children and animals. Because we even had an animal in our episodes today.
We had a spider,
Yeah. Again,
like a tarantula almost.
that takes the animal, an animal handler, and like other
Yeah,
protective like legal stuff. That's a lot of money.
yeah. And boy, that scene and its aftermath is so funny to my mind. But we'll get to it. So yeah, thank you for sharing your top line thoughts, Riley. And I think this is as it has been throughout, it's gonna be a pretty fun to unpack all this. Every episode has so much jammed into it. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like I needed a second.
Yeah, yeah. Like how however much you thought could be like communicated plot wise in a 22-minute episode of television,
It
they're just
doesn't
like
feel like 22 minutes. It just definitely does
right.
not feel like 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Or and yeah, double that for this experience. Um, and so yeah, well, so the MO with this is mostly like going through chronologically in the episodes and breaking down like our opinions and reactions to each moment, because I like sort of chose that as the format because you really don't want to miss anything with this show.
Yeah,
Like
no, there's so much.
every scene has something like idiosyncratic and odd within it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so before we started recording, I asked you if I was in trouble for having you watch this for our podcast recording. Glad to not be in trouble too much. It certainly is entertaining, um, and like all the ways in which it's clearly like low production budget comes across. Um, yeah, well, you and I have taken production classes and like produced short films, so we're
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're ideal people to um to, to go into that and just and you point out everything that's
I like to
wrong.
think that this show, the reason why it looks the way it does is because the set insurance was so much. Like the amount they paid on insurance because of
Oh
all
yeah.
the shenanigans these characters get up to.
Hmm.
They're like, yes.
Yeah, we got yeah. In the previous episode, they had a water fountain spray chocolate pudding. Oh yeah. Uh, did I not mention that in the notes I sent you
No,
in the
you did
previous
not.
ones?
No, those were not
Oh,
in the notes.
that was a moment that almost like didn't even warrant mentioning. There was so much.
That's
Um,
crazy.
we'll get into our first episode, Love Pie Redux or whatever. um, I feel like Maddie just mispronouncing words and
Yeah, I when I first read it too, I was like, is it like a redux or is it like French, like redu?
redo. Um, let's say redo because that's funnier. Um,
I don't know what that
so
means. That could be a curse word in French.
I think it's literally just redo doing again.
What? That's crazy. Okay. Well, both mean the same thing, so we're fine.
So every episode, of course, starts like from the previous episode's cliffhanger. This being like every episode like bleeds into the next one. That's the show's format, and I assume that's the case for most telenovelas. I'm not sure, but oh, but by the way, you seem to like be like the way you phrased it. It was like, oh, this must be a telenovela. Have you like had experience like watching shows like of that style before?
I'm actually not a big telenovela watcher, but I have
Mm-hmm.
seen oh goodness, what's it called? Jane the Virgin, which is supposed to be a
Oh yes,
telenovela.
yes,
Yeah.
that show is awesome.
Yeah, my sister really loves that show. And so I have seen
Yeah.
that and I know the basic format. And I do think a lot of telenovelas go with that concept of kind of every episode like builds on it and they end on cliffhangers because it's supposed to be about the drama and the situations.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like a soap opera. This
Yes,
show
yes,
is
yes.
a soap opera at the high school level, I suppose.
Isn't every high school piece of media a soap opera?
Yeah, I suppose so. And boy, if Gina Rodriguez were in this show, that would be Chef's kiss.
Oh,
She's the best.
truly, yes, yeah, actually.
Um, man, now I'm just imagining her having a cameo. I need to push past that tangent. So we barely even started. So picking up from the cliffhanger, so Jax, the new character, the bad boy, who the as my friend Tanner described, the Jacob of to Emma's Bella, I suppose.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, he's so right about that. This man is a Jacob.
yeah. Um, and, like so he constructed a ploy to get Emma to come into the room and talk with him about like wizard to witch about magic, as he says. Wasn't that so funny?
This man, I was like, what? Because he was like
he,
staring down at her. He's like, witch to wizard. And I was like, sir. First off, he's
yeah.
Aussie? Is that right?
Hmm?
He's
Oh yeah,
Aussie?
yeah,
Yeah. Was that
yes.
just random? Can you give me context on that?
He's a transfer student from Sydney, and the accent makes him more of a bad boy and like mysterious, I suppose. That's what I'm assuming that what
Sydney, Australia.
or England. Uh,
I don't think there's any bad boys from England.
I mean,
They're all
it
too
it
posh.
it, you don't think they exist anymore?
Nah, nah, no. English boys, they stay.
You weren't in this is inside baseball with UNM, but you weren't in that class with Dr. Stone where he showed us that Sex Pistols documentary.
No, 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 no. I was not in that class, but that sounds fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I guess there is a big punk scene in England, but I would say in media, in like film and television, I guess all the bad boys are from Sydney, Australia. I think back to like
Yeah.
10 Things I Hate About You, and he has like an Aussie
Yes.
accent. You're like, all right.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, Jax isn't punk at all.
No, 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 no. This guy's very, very like popular boy-esque.
Yeah, but so, but but he's supposed to be bad at the same time,
I
like
guess it's
pushing him
because
out of a
I
comfort
guess
zone.
I guess it's because he uses his powers willy-nilly, as you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say.
Including to fake a text message from Daniel to get her to come to the science lab.
Poor Daniel
That
was
was his.
going through it.
Yeah, man. Everyone's just lying to his face.
Yeah, this poor man. I felt so bad the entire time my watch. I was like, Daniel needs like he needs a vacation. He needs a holiday.
And, and he's just the victim of horrible luck after horrible luck. You know.
Not even luck.
But,
He's just these are like straight demeanors against him, you know?
yeah. Um. So Emma is like, oh my God, Jax, what's going on? What are you doing? And 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 he reveals here that he is in fact has magical powers as well as her. Um,
Crazy. Oh my gosh.
it's it yes it's crazy and I yeah and yeah he's like doesn't even have to use spells a lot of the time. He's so adept at it. He can just wave his fingers around with a poof of with like a streak of magic gray stuff
It's because he's from Australia. They all can do that there.
yeah, totally. um he's just making chemicals in the chemistry lab float around and
As one does when you're sitting in a chemistry lab.
yeah uh, and uh, uh, and Emma didn't even apparently like when she finds this out she's like, are you a she's never she doesn't know what a male witch is called at this point. She's like, as Jax would like think in his mind, she's like magically sheltered, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the word. Magically sheltered. Definitely.
And and he's just toying with her throughout this whole like, well, to an especially high degree. I mean, he does throughout, but but uh but he's like, but he like doesn't even like recognize the extent to which he's like being inappropriate. This is just him.
Yeah, and I took it as him like this was the way he was flirting with her.
Mhm.
Was that he wanted to
uh,
be the one to teach her how to be better at magic.
yeah, uh, and uh, and so he like starts like being like, oh yeah, I'm a wizard, and oh uh, and and he like revels in like seeing how naive she is. Like, we got to clear out of here. Daniel's coming, and he's like, whoa. You didn't even pick up that was just me like screwing with you.
Yeah, and
Lame.
there's definitely interesting commentary on that in thinking about it like as representative because that's a common thing that like girls experience, especially in like
Mm-hmm.
non-TV show settings, is that guys come in and they want to kind of play off like this naivete, and like in movies they show it a lot where it's like you have this girl who obviously is very talented, but this one guy kind of wants to mansplain things to her essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, like here's how to use magic, or I'm a wizard. I'm not a witch, I'm a wizard.
and because she didn't assume the worst in him, she's the stupid one.
Yes, yeah.
That's how he thinks.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, it's like I wrote in my notes like, oof, arrogance alert in
Yeah,
him.
definitely.
Um, but then when someone's coming into the room, he teleports away, and like, whoop, uh, uh, and he just assumes that Emma's gonna like A, knows how, and B, would teleport away with him at the same time.
Yeah, he was that cocky that he was like, "Oh yeah, she would definitely just like leave the room with me."
And she'll just like know what I'm doing. Like, oh, time for us both to dip out.
Yeah.
Bazinga. To quote the great Sheldon Cooper, of course. Through this mishap, she ends up covered with goo, and this is definitely not the last time we'll be saying the word goo. They say it a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's covered in purple chemical goo, whatever, and she's like, ah, really? And then the most like out of nowhere, like absurdly energetic and comedic science teacher comes in.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, Miss Alonso?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, does this teacher like is a regular on the show, or was this like
this is legitimately her first appearance?
Yeah, like why is
so
this
weird?
Why is this the rudest teacher I've ever seen on television?
Yeah.
Like, who is this lady? Is she a science teacher? Like, and they know her, they know who she is, and we've never met her.
We've never met her, but apparently Emma knows her.
Yeah, I was like, the writing on this teacher was a little iffy to me. I was like, not that I think adults and kids media should be like, what's the word, like only seen in a good light, but I don't think every teacher is gonna be this like stereotyped bad, like only there to like
sassy.
Yeah, only there to like punish you type of deal. That's what like all the adults in the show felt like in the last 2 episodes. I don't know if that's normal, but they all felt like that. And I feel like if
trying to be hip with the youth.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're a teacher coming into a room and you see a kid covered in chemical goo, you're going to be more concerned about the safety and like the health. Like, I'd be calling 911. I'd be getting the emergency kit. I would be getting like
rushing her over to the chemical shower that all science classrooms like have, you know.
Literally every science classroom I feel like has either like an eye washing station or like somewhere to hose you off if that happens.
You know, the shower that you pull the lever down and
like that would have been a good comedic gag to include in this, but
she instantly assumes like, care to explain yourself, Miss Alonso?
Like, I'm not gonna.
Really?
I'm sorry. I'm covered in chemical goo, and you want me to explain myself? How about we take me to the emergency room because I'm dying.
Yeah, and it's very lucky that this goo seems to be pretty harmless.
Yeah, very lucky. Like, I'm questioning whether this teacher should even be allowed to have a teaching license anymore after treating this child like that when she's covered in chemical goo.
So she's apparently in trouble, but the teacher takes her to clean off first. Oh, how nice of you, teacher.
So nice. So incredibly kind. But she doesn't go in the bathroom with her to help her. She's like, go in there.
No.
Go change.
Yeah.
Man, we need to check this child for 3rd-degree burns. As somebody with like a first aid and CPR certification, means not a lot in the medical field, but I do have it.
Yeah.
First off, if I see a child with goo, like chemical goo all over them, I'm gonna be like, hey, are you okay? Like, are you in pain? How about we call 911? First off, the goo in the show looked like the typical Nickelodeon, like, oh, you got slimed goo, so maybe I'd be like... Yeah, the Kids'
Choice Award slime, but purple.
Maybe I'd be like, alright, where'd you get slime, child? But, like, in the reference of the show, and, like, in the, context of the scene... She's in a science lab. She sees all the chemicals and she sees everything. And she's like, detention.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Literally the only kind and caring, like, and understanding adult in this show is Nurse Lily, who's not there anymore.
I was gonna say, where is Nurse Lily? What happened?
She's off doing magical training. They mentioned it a little bit.
I was like, who's this character that I don't know about?
She is my second favorite character in the show, Nurse Lily.
There.
Yeah, and like I've written like notes to like so I like compile notes for for my guests, at least in the first season. I haven't compiled one like for the second season yet because a bunch of character roles have shifted and like people have written out come get, and just haven't made the time to do that. But instead I just sent you the Wikipedia article about the show. Hope that was preparation enough.
It was actually pretty great. Like, whoever wrote the Wikipedia for this show did pretty good on it.
It was definitely children at the time who wrote it.
Okay, perfect. They did great.
Because who else would have the dedication to be like, Emma does this and then blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Some teenager was like, let me put in all my passion.
Who has an Emma X Jax fan fiction
Wattpad, yeah, like a little Wattpad moment, yeah. Hey, no judgments. No, of course not. Yeah. That's where many academics start, is the great app of Wattpad. Not me.
Truly.
Not me. Yeah. But I know a lot of academics who love Wattpad.
Yeah, truly. There's plenty of material for Jenny Nicholson content there.
Unfortunately, I was too busy reading awful books like the Selection series. Do you know the Selection? Not to get us into a tangent.
Right. I'm trying not to, but I'm curious.
It's a set of books about a girl named America.
America.
And she gets
chosen. We've got America Ferrera, the actress.
No, but she's named America in a post-dystopian America. Like, it's not America anymore. And she's chosen for, like, this kind of beauty pageant contest thing where, like, the winner gets to be the wife of the prince or whatever. And I was too busy reading those books and, like, the Chronicles of Narnia to be writing Wattpad fan fiction. Like, just those on constant repeat when I had free time.
Or to be into a show like this, you know?
You know, we all have our special interests when we're teens and adults, so it's fine.
Yeah. One more.
The de-gooing, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's time for de-gooing. So the teacher, this unnamed teacher, did they say her name at all?
Yes, it was something like Miss Morgan or something like that.
Okay, let's go with that. I didn't pick up on that or remember.
I don't like remembering mean adults, so.
Yeah, so Miss Morgan, let's call her, brings Emma through the hallway and like, okay, you better go clean up before detention, and so Daniel sees this and is like, oh, hey, Emma, what's going on? And then the teacher is, oh, my God. Hall pass, Mr. Miller? Excuse me now?
Ma'am, like, if I was... Okay, first off, teachers aren't paid enough for the amount of work she's doing in this episode. Like, these two scenes, like, she's going all out. Like, first off, ma'am, your salary is so low. Why do you care? Second off, you have a problem already. Like, you are already dealing with a child with goo all over her.
Also, is this class time? Because Diego and... Jax and Emma were just, like, in an empty classroom.
Well, I guess by that standard, they both snuck out of class. And that's why the lunchroom was empty.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But first off, I feel like I've only seen one scene where they were actually in class.
Yeah, there's the one later with the spider.
Yeah, that's it. And they weren't even they were all hanging out. Do they learn at the...
No, wait. That was during detention. My bad.
Well, the other scene's during detention. So there's no class in these two episodes. These kids...
Right.
Hypothetically are learning.
Yeah.
Which is the current state of America. So, fair enough.
They predict it accurately. I mean...
Hypothetical learning.
Yeah. And so Daniel sees this. He sees Emma covered in goo. And okay, before we get to the spell part, I want to analyze how Daniel presents his hall pass, and then she analyzes it to see if it's counterfeit.
She's really doing the most. This teacher is going above and beyond to make these kids' lives miserable.
Yeah.
Personally, me, if my salary is not that good, and my healthcare is not that good, I'm not gonna be on these kids. Like, I'm not gonna be. If he has a hall pass, he has a hall pass, lady.
But she apparently distrusts him because of the chocolate pudding water fountain incident.
My gosh, not this chocolate
Which
pudding water fountain incident again.
that his younger siblings, the T3 terrible three, did that Daniel took the rap for, as he says.
Well, at least that's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Way to look out for his
He's
siblings.
a good brother.
Yeah, yeah.
And like a genuinely good person. Like he's like
Of all the kids in this school to be like upset at, I feel like again, not to be a Daniel like apologist, but I am like this whole series, I'm a Daniel apologist.
yeah. Not to be a Daniel apologist, except I am.
Yeah, except I very much am a Daniel apologist. He's like going through it. Teachers hate him, the principal hates him, his girlfriend's lying to him.
And that's the case for literally the nicest character. He's the goodiest.
He does not deserve all this.
Does it feel realistic at all? Like this could happen?
Oh, this happens all the time. Are you kidding me? Unfortunately, the nicest people are treated the poorest.
Even by teachers sometimes. What now? Now come to think of it, there was one particular teacher who was in my middle school who was like that. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, so the important thing is though, Daniel sees Emma covered in goo. She goes into the bathroom and she's like, "Ugh, how am I gonna get this off?" And then she's like, like maybe this is a situation that just calls for doing a spell to do it.
Yeah.
She has a hilarious monologue about like rationalizing it.
Girl, she just needs to be honest with herself and the people around her that she has her powers back. Like,
yes. Like, I said to myself, like, just tell him, especially in the scene where he asks her point blank. Like,
yeah, I don't think her, like, character conflict was big enough for her to be going through the most on lying if she has powers. Because the Witch Council knows she has powers, right? Like, who does she need to lie to then?
Yeah. And so she like goes through a monologue about, well, this could be like this goo could give me a disease that's contagious. It's the moral thing to do to just clean it up completely with magic.
The first time that we've addressed that this goo can be harmful, and it's been like 10 minutes that it's been on her skin. Again, let's talk about that. Major health violation.
It could cause goo-aritis.
Oh my gosh. There was so much of that.
Emma's brain is something sometimes.
Oh yeah, I was like, man, this poor girl.
She might want to like get checked like for neurodivergence, genuinely.
You know, honestly, that is something that I was gonna mention. Like, maybe have we considered, like, in the most genuine sense, just like analyzing her from a disability research aspect, like in cinema. But then I threw that down because I understand that that's my research topic in my master's, but I should not. I don't need to bring that up here.
We probably put infinitely more thought into that just now than the writers did.
Oh, the writers were not thinking about that. They were like, I'm like, oh, is this implied autism? And they're like, she's just a girl, you know, like.
Yeah, just goo-aritis. That sounds funny. Yep.
Yeah. Doesn't get social context clues.
Yeah.
That's a later thing in the episode, like with the tripping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she does not know that Jax is into her either, right?
Right.
Yeah, like she has not caught that.
Which is strange because there's a plot line in the first season where now I'm starting to doubt my commentary on the first season being like okay. So there was another guy who's not in this season named Tony, who was like flirting with her and did one of those high school things where he like uses a card trick and then at the end it turns out was a ploy to ask her to the beach ball, you know, and like is this your card? And it says beach ball Saturday ? And
Did she just say yes?
no. She says, "That's not my card, silly." And I genuinely thought like, "Oh, is that like like that's what girls in our society are conditioned to do if they're like scared to turn a guy down, you know? Like
Yeah.
just play oblivious."
Was
So
she genuinely playing oblivious, or is Miss Girl on the spectrum?
we don't know.
Okay, perfect. She's just a girl. She's just a girl.
Yeah. You the you know how girls are.
Yeah. Just a girl,
So she casts a spell to remove the goo, and comes out, and both the teacher and Daniel are like, "What? How'd you get the goo off?" Uh, I had wipes. They're as they still look incredulous. Industrial strength wipes.
Yes, as every girl has in her purse. Industrial strength wipes.
I mean, you never know. I mean, you can end up in weird situations.
I wanna do a bag check with Emma. Like, those videos where it's like, what's in my bag? Like, I wanna see.
Those variety YouTube channel, like, what's in my bags? Celebrity edition. Yeah.
Yes, chapstick. Oh, yeah. Pencil. Notebooks for classes. Industrial strength anti-goo wipes.
Yeah. And water
bottles.
They say anti-goo wipes on the label. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As every girl has in her bag.
Mm-hmm. And so then in a later scene with Jax, where he like tries to make it up to her supposedly, and like clean up the mess, he's using magic on a mop to like mop the same already clean area over and over again.
He's just Jax.
Yeah. He's like, of course, he doesn't really care. He's just trying to get into her DMs.
If DMs existed back then.
Yeah. Maybe. So anyway, so he's like, okay, let's just talk, straight, and wizard to witch. This is when that is said, and so they're that and like, I need to ask you some questions. Yeah, that's fine. I have questions for you too, but you first. Emma starts to open her mouth to ask a question, and then he's like, just kidding. I'm gonna ask a question first. And I was like, you're really charming, Jax. Good job.
The most charming. Yes, the man every woman wants.
So they talk a little bit about like why they both have a history with the Witches Council. Like Jax apparently used magic to make himself better at basketball. It's pretty vague, but he got in trouble for it and like got sent to magical juvie, I guess.
Magical juvie, my favorite place.
Yeah, and then Jax sort of susses out of Emma that the Witches Council are onto her because she's dating Daniel, who is a normal human. Like,
yes, on the same level as magical juvie, in my opinion.
Yeah. Which like up until the previous episode, she didn't even know that was like magically illegal.
Yeah. Because we can hold standards on young minors for legality causes.
Yeah, and Wizards of Waverly Place did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yes. I feel like, first off, sending a kid to magic juvie for basketball, like making themselves better at basketball, that feels like a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. Again, what's up with the adults on this show? Like, you get detention for having chemical goo all over you. You get questioned whether you have a hall pass, like whether it's real or not. And thirdly, he went to magic juvie for making himself better at basketball. Anything a child with magic would do if they played basketball.
It's messed up. Like every adult just assumes the worst.
Also, can I ask the logistics on the magic here? So we're at like this random high school in Florida, and there's multiple people with magic at the school. Is this like a strange occurrence?
Unclear.
Unclear.
We're
Okay,
just pretty.
perfect.
It's just we're we're just very centric on the people in the show. We don't like learn much
We
about
haven't learned the
what happens
magic, like
elsewhere.
the continuum of the world, like how magic works in the
Yeah,
world, or like we just have the witch
yeah,
council in the school.
yeah. Legitimately, in the last season, Maddie's mom was like coaxing Maddie on like taking Emma's powers during the eclipse, which is like part of the climax of the season.
Okay.
It's like a and she was like, "Yes, we will take the chosen one's powers, and together we will rule North Miami."
Okay, North Miami. Yes, ma'am. You can have
Ju-
Miami.
Yeah, we're gonna magically rule North Miami, and that's it.
Wonderful. You can have North Miami, Maddie's mom.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
so that's like we get the logistics of the magic world in that there's a witches council, that the nurse goes off to witch training or magic training.
Yeah, because she became a new member of the Witches Council after one of them in the previous episode just vanished. Um.
No explanation on the vanishing witches council
She went
member.
to she went to some purgatory prison.
Oh, so
Um.
we've got witch juvie, like magic juvie, and we have purgatory.
I mean, that's how I describe it. She's just it hasn't been like properly explained. But she's just at the end of the episode. She's just shown to be like in a cloudy, smoky room, like ethereal, like and and like shackled to a table. Um.
By that logic, then, if there's magic purgatory, magic juvie, there's also magic prison, magic heaven, and magic hell.
Oh, as I recall, we do genuinely see a couple of those things.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
There's a place called uh the Abyss. Um, I
There's a
think that's
magic
what.
abyss.
Yes, I'm not making this up. In this season, that appears. I mean, I haven't seen this show in a decade, but I remember that. And
Is the magic
uh,
abyss in magic hell? And is it like in a situation where, like in Greek, like mythology, how Kronos is in the abyss?
um, there's not reference to like gods
No,
and
no, no.
things
I'm
like
not
that,
saying
but
like, is it just like, is like the abyss in magic hell? And is there something in the abyss, or is it just an abyss?
I think it is just basically an abyss. There's.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much time trying to remember.
Sorry, we're
I'll
talking the
think of.
logistics of the magic world, people.
No, this is awesome. I love it.
Every which I need to diagram like how this magic world works, because obviously they do not have
Yeah,
spells. Like they kind of just
yeah. You
make up
said,
random rhymes.
but there's also the magic spell book called the Hexerin,
There's a
which is the
hexerin.
show.
Okay, so like
So
why
there,
aren't these children in magic school if they have magic powers? Like Harry Potter-esque. Like why are they
oh,
not getting
there
like
is
little
a
letters?
magic school that appears later.
Why are
Um,
they not at the magic school? Like why are they at a normal high
I'm
school?
I'm sure there's an explanation
Is it like you
that comes later.
Is it like you have to bear through high school and then you get to magic college? Like you get to go to magic college and that's when you get to like be a normal like wizard and witch. Before that
Might be.
you have to learn math. Like they're like we need you
Yeah,
to have reading comprehension skills before you can learn how to do spells.
yeah, uh, yeah. Oh, I forgot the part where Emma's dad, Principal Alonzo, excuse me, like 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 chides her comedically before making her clean up the mess in the
Yeah,
science lab.
also, what was that about? Also another like villainization of adults in this show. Like why is this child cleaning up the chemical goo in the in the science lab after she had it all over her skin?
Mm-hmm.
Does
Yeah,
magic clear up
truly.
third degree burns?
Yeah, it's just a harmless goo, I guess, which, as we all know, we make in science class in high school all the
Yes,
time.
harmless goo.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. So then later at Emma's house, Jax no. Daniel comes over and what during a conversation where Emma and her best friend Andy's my favorite character in the show, by the way, but she doesn't have too much to do in these episodes,
I
unfortunately.
really
But
liked Andy in these episodes. I was like, I wish there was more of her.
yeah, it, it's just yeah, it's a bit odd, like
Her and her
characters like
carburetor.
yeah, her engine propeller,
Yeah.
as
This
they say.
giant engine she has in Emma's room because she's
Oh
not
yeah,
like other girls.
totally she talks about engines and such constantly,
I
and
like
drills and tools.
I like that for this like whole scene for her, like her character motivation. They were like, yes, just like wipe down this engine propeller, like with this like
Mm.
Shazam like wipe.
While me, Emma, the girly one, is scrapbooking.
Yeah. Because Andy's just not like other girls, and this
Yeah,
is the dirtiest engine propeller you've ever seen, and this wipe does not a single thing to the dirt on this. Like it's already like this engine propeller is black, and she's
yeah,
wiping it with like an orange cloth.
yeah, Eh, and like nothing comes off of it onto the wipe.
Also, I'm thinking logistically on how Andy got this thing. That thing is heavy.
Andy, I'm guessing, is just strong AF.
It's super
Um,
strong. Like carries like 80 pounds casually.
sure.
Yeah.
That feels like something the show would do, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Because she's on the swim team.
Oh yeah, the
We see that.
strongest people.
Sorry, I'm thinking about the moment later where Jax calls Emma weak, and then she thinks that he means physically weak.
Yeah, I was like, Miss Girl, come on. What did she say? She says scrapbooking takes a lot of upper body strength. I
Upper
was
body
like,
strength.
girl, he's obviously not talking about whether you go to the gym or not.
Yeah, I work
Again,
out
let's go back. Let's go
sometimes.
back to with autism and cinema. Have we considered?
Yes. Uh, are you gonna change your graduate thesis now?
That's actually my graduate thesis is exploring women with autism in cinema. So maybe that's why
Yeah, you have a new example
I
to
have a
put
new
in.
example.
Genuinely.
Perfect. Yeah, I feel like if they just had leaned into that, we would have been like, ah, this tracks, But they're like trying to argue she's
Mhm.
just a girl, And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. So then they're like talking about the witches' council and like, man, I hope they don't like break into my house through the window. And I just leaned onto my hand and being like, 3, 2, 1, thud on the window.
I was like, Miss Girl, first off, are the witches council like, why would they be coming through the window? And secondly,
Yeah,
it was like, here comes a character.
at least they wouldn't break in through the window. Dot dot dot.
Yeah. Who's coming through the window? Oh my gosh, it's not the witches council.
It's just me, Daniel.
It's just the sweetest boy in the show.
Okay, he does that because of how much Emma's dad hates him, and he doesn't want to risk Emma's dad answering the door.
Yeah,
That's
Emma's
legitimately
Mr.
why.
Alonzo's hate for out of the blue is like, sir, this kid is the nicest kid in school. Like,
But there was the pudding incident.
oh, the pudding incident. Oh my gosh, a kid makes a mistake. A 14-year-old spills pudding on you. Whoa.
No. He supposedly rigged the water fountain just to spray pudding everywhere.
All right, he's a teenage boy. Like,
His hatred you can see like the hatred in his eyes.
yeah, like every time it shows him staring at Daniel, I'm like, God, he's gonna kill this child. Like,
Yeah.
also Daniel's parents would not be allowing from the school, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah. Like yeah, his parents are very very nice, and and just very warm people as well. Like I have a feeling they would like, if Daniel told them what was going on, they would like stand up for him.
well, also,
Yeah.
if you're a parent and you hear your kid got detention because you get notified of that, you're like, hey, kid, what the heck? What happened? And then the fact that Daniel gets a week of detention,
Added on to by what Jax does, which we won't talk about yet.
Yeah,
We'll
we
get to
have
that.
not. Sorry, going off a little too ahead, but I was
Okay.
like, as
Okay. Sure.
like
Go ahead.
as somebody who knows what parents are like they would be like, "What the heck?" I would be scheduling meetings. Like, what is going on?
Hmm. Yeah. So, but so Daniel asks Emma to like, can we talk about something? Oh yeah, sure. And Andy is like, okay, I'm just gonna stand here still and go back to doing what I'm doing. And then they both look at her. Oh, okay. You mean privately? Oh, okay. Come on, Hexerin, keep me company in the kitchen. Uh, and and then Daniel asks point blank, Emma, do you have your powers back?
Yeah.
No. So, don't lie to me. No, I don't have them back. How do you explain how I don't believe your excuses about like your wipes and whatnot? Well, I don't have my powers back, Daniel. This goo is actually a compound that's meant to get rid of other goo, so it wiped off quite easily. And so you're like, you were covered in anti-goo goo. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Yes.
That's why it came off
Yeah.
so easily, and I looked perfect coming out of the bathroom.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes,
Perfectly
Emma.
understandable.
Yes, Emma. Great lie. Good job.
And then and then Daniel, he's like, yeah, it's good that you don't have your powers back. Thank you for clearing that up. I was worried because if you had your powers back, it would ruin everything. Okay then. That
That is some conflict there. That's crazy from
I know he apologizes right after saying it, but wow, just that okay.
first off, sir.
Like I know he's like worried about the implications of magic and people coming after her and everything, but to be just like, oh, that you having powers would ruin everything, and you can tell that she's like a bit offended.
Anybody would be offended by that if your partner said that to you. Like, and that happens all
Yeah,
the time too. Like, oh man, thank God that you're no longer.
yeah, like if I were in a relationship and someone was like, oh, thank God that gem doll of yours broke. It was really cluttering up the room. I was like, excuse me, that that's the thing I'm into. You're just disrespecting the thing I'm into. Yeah.
Or even, I feel like there's a big question in these two episodes on like how do we identify ourselves? I think that's a big thing. And of course, it's kids' media, so we do talk a lot about like identity and like how we define ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
like, obviously, magic is a big part of Emma's identity, you know?
And she says it right here. She's like, no matter whether I have powers or not, I'm still a witch. That's literally the sentence right after that.
Yes, and I think that's such a great line there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in regards to like out of this show, which the show's writing is pretty bad at times, but it's okay. We look past it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's why we're talking about it and
yeah,
having
yeah,
fun.
yeah. This hold to her beliefs and how she identifies herself is really strong, especially contrasted to Maddie, which is like the next scene where we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
Maddie's identity and loss of identity, which
Yeah.
she identifies
Oh,
purely with her power.
yeah. Um, and and yeah, it's fascinating. Like how she like feel like she's trying to like get claw back a little bit of like feeling that she's telling the truth. Like, well, I'm still a witch either way. Uh, even though I like like I'll t- like I can say that even though I'm lying otherwise,
Yeah.
straight to his face when there's no reason to. Like
Yeah.
she's set up to just come clean. He asks comes to her house and asks her point blank,
Yes,
and
yeah.
she still lies.
There is a huge thing here with Emma in that Emma obviously has this strong belief on who she is, which she is a witch and
Mm-hmm.
she has powers, but she's
Yeah.
really forcing herself into this mold on who she's supposed to be for her dad, for her boyfriend, for her friends, in respect to Maddie, everything. And so it is a really interesting.
And to the witches' council who's now breathing down her neck.
Yeah. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic, especially when you bring Jax into it, which Jax represents everything that is not. You know, he disregards the rules. He is himself. Like, we will give him that, you know. And he directly calls her out for these lies and like her trying to fit a mold that she's not.
Yeah. It's just trying to make her come out of her shell. And yeah, there's some good intentions in there. Like, you could do what he does in a better way. What he does is not that.
Well, any character who is not as like disrespectful as him wouldn't do it as well, right? He has to be the he has to be the polar opposite. We have to see his flaws openly, you know, for this to work.
He has to like actually like push her and shove her around, so to speak.
Yeah, anybody who's authentically themselves and is respectful about it wouldn't be able to get this out of Emma. Because they'd be like, here's me, here's my boundaries, and Emma would be like, and they'd be like, all right, I'll just go over here then. You know, like, I'm not going to deal with that. Versus Jax, Jax is having fun with it. That's why he's still there.
Full steam ahead.
Yeah. He genuinely is finding entertainment in it, and that's why it works. Because he genuinely is being a shitiot, in my best opinion. Like, he needs to be able to mess with her and mess with Daniel to satisfy himself.
Exactly. And that's as opposed to like Daniel, like in this scene, like yes, like Emma is lying, but also he's trying to, like, even though he has like some good intentions in mind, he's like forcing her into a box. Like, I think, man, if you had powers, you would make me worry about you, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, because not to be this way, but he's a man. Like, at least men of this decade in media, it's like, oh, we are supposed to fit the needs and wants and desires of the person we are, as women, are pursuing in a partner, you know? And we're supposed to minimize ourselves to fit their standard and their mold. And so that's just what we're seeing reflected here. But there's an interesting commentary on, like, from the audience, and it's like, we don't agree with that, obviously, because we relate to Emma.
Like from our, like, at least my older vantage point now, I can like see like, well, each character like makes some good points, like, but they're wrong in this other multitude of ways.
Yeah, these characters are all very layered, and that's really great in that Emma knows who she is as a witch, but she's trying to confine herself, and we don't agree with that. But we agree with her that she holds to her beliefs. We're Daniel sympathizers in that he's going through way too much in these 2 episodes, but he's trying to trying to put his own beliefs on Emma.
And I'm just of the personality type to like sympathize with someone like Jax the least, where like you're just being a shit, no matter how many times like people tell you to stop. Like, this is like, hey, I'm trying to like
his motivation across to you, but his motivations behind it are pretty, like, actually pretty terrible too, in my opinion. But they come there's that little saving grace, the little bit of it, in that he is authentically himself and calls Emma out for not being authentically herself. Is he doing it in a shitty way? Absolutely, he is. But
exactly.
These characters are all layered.
Exemplified through the line that Jack says in this next conversation scene that he has. Boy, are you glad you met me?
Yep.
Oof.
Oof. Very, very arrogant.
Yes. And he like calls her weak, but yeah, as we said, just he's fine with dishing out disrespect all he wants. You know.
Yeah.
One more line from the Daniel conversation though is if you don't have powers, you'll be safe. You'll be safe from, as Emma says, the super psycho 400-year-old witches pretending to be principals. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
they have personal experience with that one.
Wild line to write for Emma to say. Personally.
Yes,
That's a crazy line.
truly. I I wish I had time to like list all the crazy lines that you would like be bowled over by in the show, but we'd be here all day.
Oh my god. I bet. These 2 episodes alone were wild.
Mm-hmm. So let's get to the other side of the plot line here.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Katie, Sophie, so they're the 2 fellow Panthers to the Regina George of Maddie.
Are we considering her Regina George?
Yes, essentially that's, I mean, on paper she is that.
Yeah, okay.
And like there's literally the level-headed one who's trying to like usurp power, and the ditz, so it's just like the plastics in Mean Girls, you know.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're so right. I didn't pick that up. That's so interesting.
So they're trying to convince Diego to be on their side and like 24/7 try and use his elemental powers to convince Maddie that her powers are working just fine by like going to crazy lengths to make it look like her spells worked.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was the scene where they like coax Maddie into like trying to enact a smoothie spell.
Yeah.
But they got the smoothie intended for Maddie and the one for Sophie mixed up.
Yes, yeah.
Maddie's one was strawberry, and Sophie's was like cherry cinnamon tuna.
I think it was banana cherry cinnamon tuna.
Banana cherry cinnamon tuna. Yes.
Yeah.
And so when they coax Maddie to do the spell, Katie then reaches for the wrong smoothie and hands it to Maddie.
Yep, yeah. And then has to pretend to like it.
That acting by Katie's actress right there is so good. She's just like, yeah, it's good.
It was a good use of physical like comedy in that scene, in my opinion. The physical comedy within the 3 of them was actually pretty good throughout this entire episode.
Yeah, and so Sophie is the MVP of physical comedy.
Yeah.
Because fast forward to the scene in Maddie's living room. Okay, we got all these, you know, fake situations of spells lined up. We've got me in a blue wig, says Katie. We've got the smoothies, and we've got flying Sophie.
Yeah. Sophie in a harness.
Yeah,
dangling with a from a rope.
That Katie has to hold on to.
Yeah. Notably, yes, yeah.
And Diego is hiding behind a curtain in order to create wind and rain should the need arise.
Yeah. Also a cake on the ground.
Yeah. So like, and Maddie's mom is like, what's all this? We're trying to convince Maddie that she has her powers back. Oh, and it's working? She's like, ooh, am I gonna be like off the hook here? Because she has Maddie's powers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she totally believes that she has her powers back and that they're just malfunctioning sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh good. Then carry on, girls. Yeah, we can create everything for her except love spells. Oh, wait, what? Love spells? Love spells are a thing? She's an adult connected to the magical world and didn't know this.
Well, I mean, she just recently got her powers, right?
Yeah. She's evidently been a powerless witch her whole life, I guess. And then they're like, and Sophie explains like you have to do it on a pie and then make the person eat the pie. Oh, well, I can't bake at all, so might as well give up on that. Her mom is genuinely like that.
It's a funny concept in that the only way you can enact a love spell in this universe is by giving this person a baked good.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what they assume.
Yeah.
I mean, because this episode, of course, is called Love Pie Redo.
Yeah. It's a hard day. It's a hard day for witches who are in love with guys who don't like pies. Or like people who don't like pies.
Mm-hmm. And Ursula's like, well, if I have to bake something, then might as well just give up on that whole thing. And then they're like, oh yeah, if you try and bake something, no one will eat it. You have to go with a store-bought one for it to work. And Ursula's like, yeah, good idea. and neither Katie or Sophie like think it's suspicious that like her mom is asking like what to do with magic.
Yeah. None of these, like, they're just like, oh, she's just curious.
Yeah. Like, how do you do this spell specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. They don't even think of that. This show has many layers that are, like, not intended, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what is this?
Yes, yeah.
You can understand now why I chose to do a whole like series retrospective podcast on it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I think it's so great because there's nobody else doing this, so you really are a trailblazer in this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, like I like genuinely thought about like yeah, no one else is doing this, so I'd better. I'm the one person in my life anyway who knows about this show and has thought about it all these years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there are two people I know who independently knew about this show. One girl that I met at the Cannes Film Festival this past year, and my therapist.
That's great. Oh my gosh.
And this girl that I met is from Ireland. Apparently, she watched it over there.
Yeah, online when I was reading up on it, it said that it was really big in the UK.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, maybe ask around people where you are, see if anyone knows about it.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a message and ask if anybody here, like, who I know who are from here, Scotland, Ireland, if they all, like, knew about it. But specifically, I think it was pretty big in Ireland.
Mm-hmm. That's fascinating. Maybe they're big telenovela fans over there. I don't know.
They're like, yes, a telenovela, my favorite.
Yes. They watch them with their Guinnesses and whatnot.
Children are watching them with their Guinnesses.
No, adults watching adult telenovelas.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Every Which Way and the children in Ireland watching it with their Guinnesses. And I was gonna have to be like, hey, no. Maybe we should rephrase that statement.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yes.
Any Irish person would be like, yes, we've been drinking since we were children. And I'd be like, no, you haven't.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this to that friend.
Just all the Irish children with their Guinnesses watching Every Which Way.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure it happened somewhere.
Let's ignore the legality of that.
Yeah. So they're talking about it to Diego, this whole ruse of like we're gonna we have Sophie in this harness, I have this blue wig, we have the smoothies, we're gonna totally, be convincing for Maddie that she has her powers still. And Maddie has come home and overhears this conversation, and she's like, yeah, she thinks she has her powers back, but she doesn't, and we're all lying to her. They say that.
Okay, hot take. I thought they were being really good friends and trying to convince her she had her powers back, because they saw how distraught she was. And so I was like, I feel like Maddie being angry at them for lying to her, like, a little bit warranted, a little. But also I'd be like, oh. But I also forget Maddie does not kind of see them as friends, right? She definitely sees them as, like, little minions.
she doesn't bother to remember Diego's name.
Yeah,
Like,
she calls him Proxy.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that later. But
Yeah.
but so, and so so Maddie decides to ruse them back, and she like acts the part like, I'm home. Let's do some spells, everyone. Um, we're so glad that you're home. Katie does that.
Yeah, yeah.
We're we're so happy to see you, Maddie. and and so well, since I'm home, I should do a spell. Make this is something. Make Katie float in the air.
Yeah, like
Whee!
the little rhyming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this universe, you just have to rhyme some words, and you can do whatever.
God, I wish that were true in this universe.
Yeah. Like a spell. That I remember is like, I wish I had a special tool that got me ready for school. Puts Emma in like her full school uniform and hair done and everything.
Gosh, I wish it were that easy.
Yeah. Um, and so they're like, okay, let's have some wind in here. Diego from behind the curtain blows some wind, which knocks Katie over, causing her to let go of the rope holding Sophie up. Thud.
Yep.
Also in the scene where they were rehearsing this earlier, and Sophie was let go by Katie and fell on the ground. She's like, "Ooh, I'm okay. The floor broke my fall."
Sophie's an icon. She's a legend.
So yes, and she is the moment.
She is the moment, especially when she hits the ground. That is a moment.
Yes. And she hits the ground, and her head like gets covered in smoothie.
Yeah. Strawberry smoothie.
Again when strawberry smoothie. Glad it's not the banana cherry cinnamon tuna smoothie.
Thank God, because that would have been punishment for everybody in the room.
Yeah. And so then Katie remembers to lift her back up like and then at a certain point Maddie's like, rain, wind, smoothies. She's just screwing with them, and and I'm just like, oh my god, poor Katie. She's just trying to be nice. But
yeah, I genuinely, my biggest hot take from these episodes, besides being a Daniel apologist, is that like these were some great like friendship moments for and Diego. Let's not include him because he also went through it too.
Yeah, Diego is just like down bad though.
Hey, you know what I mean? We talk about it today. There's all the memes right now. Bring back yearning. Diego's just yearning. Let the man yearn. If we had more positive influences of yearning like Diego, we'd have more yearning men and women and people.
Yes. And then Maddie at a certain point is just like, stop, all right, everyone, stop. That includes you too. Like, talks, like, leans her head behind the curtain.
Well, Diego wasn't hiding very well. It's like the curtain, but then the outline is just a human body. You know, like
yeah. And he leans out over and over again.
Man couldn't blow wind behind the curtain. He had to like stick his little mouth out.
Exactly. And so they're Katie has the gall to say, "Wait, you knew? You figured it out?" "Of course I know. There's a rope dangling in the living room."
I was really stoked that this scene brought up the fact that, like, I feel like it ignores, like, the show ignores a lot of, like, things, like, that are kind of ridiculous, and the only reason why we as the audience accept it is, like, you know, cinematic magic.
It just keeps doing it.
Yeah, but this scene, they were like, what's the one thing Maddie's gonna mention? The rope. You know, like...
Yeah.
Not the fact that she heard them talking before, but the rope hanging in the ceiling, whereas in
Yeah,
another scene, like, someone would have fully believed that she was flying.
yeah.
Like, if
Uh,
this was a different context in the series, like,
if Sophie saw someone else in that harness, she would have believed it.
yes, exactly. And so I was really glad that they played on that there was a rope.
Yeah,
And that, like, Katie was holding the rope.
yeah. And at the end of this scene, when they're all like humiliated, uh, I can't communicate this over audio, but Sophie gives the funniest expression of just like, "Aww."
Poor
And
Sophie, she's a sweetie. Like,
yeah, Sophie is the most wholesome.
she really is the most wholesome character. Like, besides her awful taste in smooth
Yeah. Oh,
and
oh,
odd
also,
taste in eating a fern.
yeah, and you know, some of the most endearing scenes in this whole show as a whole thus far have been um Sophie and Jax's scenes together.
Yeah,
Um,
no, they've been so sweet. She's just Sophie's so mischievous, and I love it.
I ship Sophie x Jax hot take.
I know. I
No,
think
no,
Jax needs to go to therapy.
yeah, yeah. Most characters need to go to therapy, honestly.
Yeah, Jax. Let me see. Emma needs therapy. Maddie needs therapy. Jax
A-
definitely.
Andy's fine.
Andy's great. I could argue that Daniel's fine too. Like,
Yeah,
they might benefit from it because everybody benefits from therapy.
yeah, of
But
course,
like
yeah.
the people who I would be like, let's not ship these people with anybody would be like Jax. Like Jax just needs
Hmm.
to like figure out who he is in his soul.
Yeah, and as far as I can remember, like Andy hasn't had just about like any crush or relationships in the show thus far. So I was like, yep,
Queen.
Andy, aromantic represent.
Yeah, Queen energy there. Her and her engineer propeller.
Yeah,
Giant 80-pound engineer like engine propeller, not engineer, sorry.
no,
She
no
probably
worries.
honestly, I would predict that Andy would become an engineer or like mechanic.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think she already is essentially. She's talked about like fixing up motorbikes and such. Uh,
Yeah, next step engineer, you know.
yeah. Uh, I want to see that spin off of Andy as an adult as like some powerhouse engineer. Yeah.
Yeah, Andy like they could call it Andy the engineer, like every engineer way.
But and in the show promo, she puts on some goggles and goes right
Yeah.
to work.
Yep.
Yeah. The yeah. Um. So so so
Proxy.
Maddie.
Proxy. We should
The,
talk about Proxy.
yeah, that's what this next episode is called. Powers by Proxy. You got
Yes.
it. And and she starts calling him Proxy and and yeah, just she initially hold on. I'm right, I'm thinking about too far ahead. Never mind. So so she essentially enlists. She's like she goes into full like next level tyrant mode. She's like, okay, you have to like you have to follow me around for anything that I would want to use my powers for. Um and like to to write my assignments for me and open my locker and carry stuff and and be there to like cause rain or take people's stuff away when I want it. Uh, you, you're gonna be my magic slaves essentially.
Yeah.
And and when Katie pitches him on this pitches Diego on this idea, he's like, "Wait, you want me to follow her around all the time and just do stuff for her, whatever she wants?" Yeah, uh, and and just put up with her abuse constantly. Yeah. Hmm. And and he like gets quiet for a second, and Katie leans into Sophie and is like, "I knew he wouldn't go for it." And he says, "I'm in." And
That was so funny. I was like, yeah, this tracks.
mhm. Absolutely. They were leaning hard on that punchline. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a good one, in my opinion.
mhm. And I was just like, oh my god, I this episode in particular has made me like lose a lot of the like cool points I had for Diego. He's just so like desperate and
Like I said, nothing wrong with a man yearning. Like, let him yearn.
yeah, maybe yearn for a better person. I don't know.
Hey, Maddie has that good moment. She has that good moment.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
We will get to
Um.
it, but he's not wrong.
Oh, it's a moment where it feels like I can see what you're getting at. Like it feels like a bit of her genuine side coming out. Uh,
Diego can just see. Like, he can just see who Maddie is. Like, that's all it is. He's seeing beneath the surface and he's yearning.
but and like we get a glimpse of her she, like her what she how she acts normally is like her affecting a role, more identity stuff. Hey, um
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
um and um so so Ursula finds out about the love spell, and she's
Yeah.
been speaking of yearning, she's been going after
Oh, Miss Ursula
Emma's
is
dad.
the yearner of this episode.
Yeah, of the show as a whole. Uh,
Oh, really? As
this
the
this this has been there since episode one,
Oh
and
gosh, she's been yearning a bit.
yeah, but now she's got the power
Oh my gosh.
to to affect this, and so she puts a love spell on a pie, uh, and she gets arranges a dinner over at the Alonso household, and bring herself and Maddie, and they dine on caviar pizza
Oh,
and
delicious.
and the pie, um, and so she of course Ursula makes Emma's dad, Principal Alonso, eat the pie, and
Mm.
he Emma can pick up instantly how he's acting differently. Like Dad, you're acting weird, and like why are you being so kind to Ursula? And like just last night you were mowing your lawn at night so that Ursula wouldn't come by while you're outside during the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they hear like what why are you being so critical, Emma? Is that you trying to be Clay?
I don't even know what clay clay means. Can I be
He was
honest?
he was saying he was it was a riff on cray.
Oh, it was a riff on cray cray. I did not
Yeah.
pick that up. I, at heart, am an 80-year-old woman. Like,
Sure.
I just don't know.
So so you're just like Emma, who always thinks the best of, and just is sheltered, I suppose.
Me? I don't know.
Uh,
We'd have to do a deep dive into that, and that's a whole other tangent.
Sorry. That was my rendition of the X-Files theme. Aren't you proud?
Oh, that was
um,
great. It was wonderful.
Thank you. So and, and so so they so Mr. Alonso is like, we have news for you girls, for you Emma and Maddie, uh, we're Ursula and we're in love.
Yes.
Yes, we. And Ursula can't even like process it herself at first. We are, yeah, and we're going to get married. You guys are going to be sisters. Isn't that wonderful? Uh, no. Um,
This was another moment in the show where I was like, all right, deep concepts. Let's talk
yeah,
about blended families.
yeah.
Play.
Um, but but um, it turns out they won't mix for other reasons. So, because Emma and Maddie are just that incompatible. They're so incompatible that they work together to make sure that they'll never have to be sisters. Um,
Yes, yes. As you do with your person that you don't want to be a sister with,
yeah,
you work
it's a
together as a
reverse
team.
Parent Trap.
Yeah, yeah. What's the best way to make sure your families don't get together? Let's
Yes.
become partners. Let's
Yes.
let's take
Yeah.
our parents down together
Mm-hmm.
and
But
bond
it's
that way.
after Maddie is like, obviously this is your fault.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how do you figure that? Well, because it's not my fault. That's another like she's Maddie's just like um she has a view of things of like, well, it's either me or them, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely that way.
And well, and it's like did you might have done this because there must be a spell. Wait, that's definitely what it is. And did you do it? No, obviously I wouldn't do it, and I don't. Oh, Maddie says, did you get your powers back and not tell me? Because obviously Emma would tell her everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because again, they're so incompatible.
They're so close.
Yeah, yeah. Like
yeah. Would you be surprised to learn that there is Emma x Maddie Wattpad fanfiction?
Of course there is. Of course there is. Why would there not be?
Yeah. Don't read it. It's
personally I don't read a lot of Wattpad stuff, so we're good on that front. But I'm not shocked it's out there.
Yeah. But so yeah, so they agree to work together to resolve this. That we're gonna split our parents up. We don't want to be sisters. And
yes.
So then there's the scene of Maddie making the group do what she'd do with her powers. Like you got my smoothies? Yes. You got do my lip gloss? Okay. And then you got my my folder? Oh darn, I forgot to do the essay for Maddie. Oh no. As it says Sophie. And Maddie's like, what? All right, as a punishment, Proxy, make it rain on Sophie. Yeah, but yeah. She's
Katie wrote 2 essays. It's okay.
Yeah, she saves the day. She wrote 2 essays and
as one does, when, you know.
Yeah, she's like, I wrote this essay about what was it, like
one was comparing Teddy Roosevelt and another,
that was the second one.
Yeah, another president's policies, and then the first one.
Yeah.
I don't
It
remember.
The first one doesn't matter as much, but the second one that she wrote just for fun is comparing the foreign policies of Teddy Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, as one does when you are a 14-year-old in high school.
Yeah,
for fun.
And Sophie is like, ooh, what are they? And
I was cracking up at that, honestly. I was like, yes, girl.
Sophie is awesome. Like sometimes, like for the most part, she's like, oh, stupid, what, haha. But also sometimes she like displays profound knowledge on things.
Well, my first introduction to Sophie was her like behind the bush, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you don't know a lot about the school, Jax. And you're like, oh my gosh. I was like, she was not introduced to me as a ditz, you know? So now I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Other than her eating a fern, I thought she was just eclectic.
Yeah, that's That's the word for her. Um,
No, no, like for
that's
eating a fern, but I really think she's a phenomenal character.
yeah. And so Sophie is interested in the essay, and I'm like, yeah, I want to know. Like, tell us, Katie. I was like, I said to myself, like, is it bad that I want to hear this exploration of Woodrow Wilson versus Teddy Roosevelt's foreign policy? And Katie, she starts saying like, oh, they're actually much more similar than you might think. Blah 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 blah.
So
and
good.
and that and I was like, no, Maddie, don't cut her off. I want to hear this.
Spin-off episode. It's just them
Like,
explaining
yeah, like
policies.
I'm into history. Tell me your interpretation, Katie.
Amazing.
Um, oh, and I also noted, oh, Katie skipped William Howard Taft. Why'd you skip him uh, in the line of presidents?
I didn't think about that. That's
Can
really
can you?
interesting.
There you go. I just showed I'm into history.
Hey. Snaps all around.
I listen to presidential history podcasts a lot. Um. Anyway, that's
You and Katie like this.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So Jack. So then so Di- so Emma and Daniel are in detention in this next scene.
Yes.
And
Not class as we were mistaken. This is
right,
detention.
because Emma's in detention for being covered in goo, and Daniel's in detention for the pudding incident, isn't it? Or was it something else since then?
I don't think we
Forget.
got an explanation on why Daniel was in detention. Was it the hall pass or was it just because Mr. Alonso hates
No,
him?
uh, just insert Mr. Alonso hates him moment here. Just
Yeah.
whatever.
Hey, anytime Daniel's in detention, we can just assume that he came by Mr. Alonso that day.
And something went wrong.
Nothing had to go wrong. He just existed.
Yeah. So it's like that meme, like blank exists, blank.
Yeah. Personally, if I was Daniel, I would be transferring schools. Or I would be, like,
Yeah.
avoiding Mr. Alonso like the plague. This man would have to call me to his office to be able to see me.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he was anywhere. He came into my classroom, I'm leaving.
And yeah, I think that would be enough motivation for me to just cut things off with his daughter. Just like, nope, I'm out.
Hey, your dad hates me? Yeah, we're broken up. Sorry.
It's not you, it's him.
Yeah, also, we're 15. This is a reasonable explanation for me to break up with you.
Yeah. And then so they have a conversation about how weird it is that Emma's dad is into Maddie's mom now. And it's like, it's he was just yeah, it is maybe Maddie's mom is nice now, and she can be, right. And Daniel says, yeah, she can be nice sometimes in a, oh, better get away from that caffeine sort of way.
Yeah.
Which is a great line that I enjoyed. And and Emma's talking about how her dad calls Ursula Ursy Wursy, and I threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, and then he said it later in the episode, and you're like, even worse. Like, ooh.
Yeah, and spying on them is Jax turned himself into a tarantula.
Yes, the best spider to spy on people.
Not like not a super tiny black spider. Just yeah, be a tarantula.
Hypothetically, hear me out. You didn't need to transform yourself into an animal. You could have done this like little rhyme and been like, da da da, turn me invisible.
Yeah. Or like allow me to hear through the wall or something.
Give me supersonic hearing. Give me like
yeah. He has mind control powers basically later.
What?
No, no, I'm talking about the making Daniel draw the
Oh, yeah,
caricature
yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, without even uttering a spell, without even uttering a word, this man is like, do, you're gonna draw Mr. Alonzo.
In a super offensive caricature.
Yeah, a super offensive caricature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jax is something else, man.
Yeah. Uh, anything good I said about Jax, strike it from the record.
Yeah. And this is another moment where I'm wondering if Emma is actually really aware or not. Emma drops her pencil and looks underneath the table and is like, "Oh my god, spider! Ah!" Uh, and like alert the whole room, spider. Uh, and so I thought to myself for a second, does she know that that's Jax and like is intentionally thwarting him? Like,
I don't think she knew.
yeah, it's pretty unlikely, but
Knowing
but
Emma's character, Miss Girl doesn't know. Miss
right,
Girl is not aware.
yeah, and so she alerts the whole room to the spider. Uh, Gigi is scared. Um, and and like backs up into a wall or a table or something, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm injured." She broke a nail. Um,
Honestly, I'm empathizing with Gigi here because breaking a nail hurts so badly.
yeah,
Definitely not a real injury where she could go to the nurse's office, but you know what, girl? I feel it emotionally. And I feel that
yeah.
physically. Like, it hurts.
Mm-hmm. And and then then a couple other guys, like nameless other characters, like stomp on the spider,
Yeah, yeah. As
but the
you
spider
would.
seems perfectly okay.
Like, you see a tarantula and you're going to step on it.
Yeah. They like stomp on it, like two different kids stomp on the tarantula, but then we just see it crawling away, looking perfectly okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then he comes back as a human and he has giant footprints on himself.
That was the funniest thing. It just
I thought that
has
was
a
actually
footprint skid on his face and like chest.
I actually thought that was really funny.
Yeah, and like how makeup department, how are we going to communicate that he got stepped on? Oh, we're gonna paint it like this.
I can just imagine that they took like a shoe and just hit his face with it. Like painted the
Put in
bottom of
some
shoe.
yeah, put in some ink. Blah.
Yeah. Which is funny because that implies that these poor kids had such dirty shoes.
Oh yeah. I want to mention this now before I forget. There was one particularly like mo- speaking of production that made me like just fill with rage that was in the previous episode to this one. Um, and you're gonna love this. So at one point, Sophie and Katie are in Maddie's room and they hear her coming. No. Maddie, it was the other way around. Maddie is in her room by herself. She hears Sophie and Katie coming, and we hear the sounds of heels walking on a floor. And then when they open the door and come in, they're both wearing flats.
Yes.
You know the heel sound effect, the plunk, plunk,
Yeah, 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 I do.
and but that but then they walk in, they're both wearing flats, and the sound of their footsteps is totally different from that.
Yes, I love that. The sound design of the teacher entering too was a little off too because you can hear in the hallway and she's like, "What's that smell?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Whoa."
Meanwhile, as well, Andy is in Nurse Lily's office and just playing around with Nurse Lily's stuff.
You know,
Uh,
honestly, the most realistic aspect of this show.
yes, and she puts on the lab coat, and Gigi comes in. I, lo- I love this scene. Um, I, you know, I wonder who Gigi's going to end up with. She needs to get shipped with someone. Anyway, uh, um, oh, you know what? so I shipped Gigi x Daniel. They had good chemistry, honestly, and
I
in the one part.
Gigi and Daniel talk.
Yeah, they did a little bit. When it's in the caricature scene, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah, that was Gigi sitting next to him.
Yeah.
I did not connect that the girl who broke her nail was also. I'm gonna be honest too. I had to like reanalyze Jax and Daniel because they look like twins. Have you noticed
Yes.
that? They look exactly the
Yes.
same.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped assuming that people were the same people.
So Andy is playing with the nurses the also with like yeah, she puts on the lab coat. Gigi comes in looking for the school nurse and is like, Andy, why are you dressed as the nurse? Well, my dad's a doctor, so I'm qualified to be an interim nurse.
Heck
uh,
yeah.
co- Continuity. In an episode last season, Andy said that her dad's a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
So
This is great.
so which one's the lie? Is he both?
He's a doctor lawyer actually.
Yeah, yeah. There are so many times that I just want to go off on tangents, but I know I shouldn't.
Yeah, definitely. Um
You should come on for another episode sometime. Like,
It has to be like way
uh,
down the line and I won't get any context of what's happened since.
yeah, maybe you'll be there in season 4. Like,
Like near the end and I'm like I don't know. Daniel
just,
Daniel has wings now.
oh my god! If you show up like early season 4, you'd be so lost.
Perfect. Sounds amazing.
But yeah, so so Gigi then gets on to Andy for her like, wait, that like this nepotism allowing you to be an interim nurse? That's an abuse of power.
Yeah, that's right. Because she's in detention for writing the newspaper stuff.
Yeah, and doing the Photoshop that she shows in just a bit.
Yes. But the abuse of power is crazy. Miss Girl is gonna be an
Yeah.
amazing journalist.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be um she she's gonna. I have a feeling she'd make an amazing member of Congress. You know,
Ah, Gigi,
at
our
least in
favorite congressman, woman.
she she would be the AOC of this universe. Um,
I don't know. Well, yeah, yeah, sure.
yeah, I just made that up now based on nothing, but let's go with
It's,
it.
I was like out of left field, but I'll support. Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of whatever.
No, no, no. I'm following you. I was just like, whoa.
Like she could like get some serious skills and then just throw down some epic speeches
Oh,
in
she
Congress.
would change the world. Gigi's on her way to like Maine.
Yeah, and make misinformation her blog go worldwide.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
does that mention that she has a blog called Misinformation?
Yes, yes, it is mentioned in the episode, which I think is funny.
It's a pun. You get it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, it's awesome. So that seems not super important though. The nurse bit it's just a funny interlude. Um,
No,
but then
that's where she gets her goggles.
oh yeah, she finds the spell-o-vision goggles.
I wonder what that's
Another
foreshadowing.
another bit of beef I have. She's used the spell-o-vision goggles in season 1, episode 18.
So it's a
This is
reuse
not
of a
her,
prop.
but she says like, "Ooh, I've always wanted to use these here."
Ooh, we love continuity in this show.
Yeah, what's that?
Continuity has been thrown out the window multiple times in this scene
Is
alone.
it just got their minds erased from this season to starting work on the next one?
They changed showrunners?
No,
Oh, okay, great. I love this show.
got it. God, I hope the showrunner's not listening to this.
They would be like, no, I get it.
Jax gets Daniel in trouble. Okay, this is why he's in detention again because Jax makes Daniel spill chocolate milk on Mr. Alonzo.
Yes, 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 yes. And we saw
Uh,
that.
dur- During the scene where the principal couple enters the cafeteria arm in arm to some fanfare. There's some trumpet.
Yeah. What? Who was
Who's
entering
playing the
in?
trumpet?
Yeah, like what child did they pay to play the trumpet as they entered in?
Oh, did Ursula cast a spell on some poor kid to make him play the trumpet?
That poor child.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of that now. That's probably that could be it. You know, if I ever get back in touch with that writer, I'll ask him. Um. So anyway, um. So then we get to one of the best scenes. Matt. So Maddie and Diego are sitting together,
Yes.
and she like shows like some genuine warmth and like caring, which is like so foreign to how we understand her, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
where she's listing things about Daniel that she remembers about.
Diego.
Diego,
Uh,
sorry.
I mix them up all the time. Don't worry. Um,
Between Daniel and Jax looking like twins, and then
yeah,
Daniel and Diego having similar names, I was cooked this episode.
yeah, and so she's like, she like has a genuine smile and is like looking at him with like affection, you know,
Yeah.
and and it's like, wow. For a sec, I wrote it in the notes. I was like, man, I ship it. And then and then she starts manipulating him again, and I was like, never mind, I don't ship it.
It's just we want to see Maddie change. The characters, the
Yeah, yeah.
showrunners, the writers are showing her as a human being. As like
We get a every so often we get glimpses like this of her being like nice and like open and just being a bit vulnerable, you know.
yeah, we
It's
want to see her be like all the time.
I I would say in the previous season there are three like scenes of that, and we get another one here. Um, the one of the ones in the first season is with an iguana. The iguana that she's forced to
Oh my god.
enact romantic scenes with her, thinking that it's Daniel transformed. Which yeah. Um, so anyway, um, so then she starts demanding that Daniel br- um get this other girl Ashley's makeup compact. Uh, like use your powers to suck it towards me, and he's like, what's a compact?
Most real thing. Like
Yeah, uh, identity. He's a boy, and boys don't know makeup things. Um,
for real though, nobody really carries around compacts anymore.
mhm.
I think that like 2014 was the last year that I really saw compacts around. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Honestly, real on Diego, but I will say the note I wrote down for this scene was like
Mhm.
I think I had this compact.
Oh yeah,
Like a pink bedazzled leopard print compact
yeah,
from Justice. Like I was like,
yeah.
"Oh my gosh. This is like
Hmm.
peak 2012, 2013, 2014 compact."
Yes, it's awesome.
Which is also
And
something to mention for the entire production design and costuming. Like when I first started the episode, I was like, "Oh my
yeah,
god."
look at this production design. Just yeah.
It's like 2013. Like you can
Mhm.
tell they're wearing statement necklaces.
Yeah. It, I've
So much
commented on that
turquoise,
quite a bit.
turquoise.
So Sophie in particular with her statement necklaces, just
Oh my gosh, so many, so many. And like they change by scene. I was like, "Oh my
yes.
gosh."
How many did the costume department have just
I can
in a
imagine they
drawer?
just had like a full wall of like
Yeah.
statement necklaces for the characters to switch on and
Yes.
off.
This scene. Yeah.
And so
And
much like coral and green. Like Emma's room was like peak, like first off, Emma's room was massive. But also
mhm.
it was like peak 2013 decor with the butterflies and the
Yes.
green. Yeah. Sorry, that was my tangent on the 2013 production design.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode in specific about the show's production design. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I I could write a whole dissertation about the show's production design.
Yeah, it was very 2013. Versus like the school scenes, it's just like a desk. You're like, you could have put
Mhm.
more into this desk, please.
Then Emma and Maddie decide in order to as a ploy to break up uh, their parents,
Yeah.
be like they 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 start they decide to like stage an argument. But in the lead up to this, um, like Maddie picks on like Emma and her family's financial state. Like, no, your dad could never afford anything that my mom would like.
And she agrees. I think
Yeah,
that was a little
she's
funny.
offended, but she's like, "Ouch!" But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Which
And
also makes me think, what does Maddie's mom do?
um, we we, uh, we never hear of her working.
The Miss Girl is in debt. Like I'm looking at her, I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, that's so much credit card debt.
Mhm. And so and also Maddie's dad is passed. So so he's not sending them money.
Life insurance is not that much money to be walking around in that much like like to be that like pristine. I don't know. Like that rich, you know.
They live in a massive house with
Yeah,
massive
yeah,
walk-in
yeah.
closets.
Maybe I
It's
don't
insane.
understand life insurance that much. But I don't think it's
Or
that much.
or maybe this is just a fictional show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm the worst because I question like the logistics of
No,
everything.
I've been doing that this whole time too. It's yeah. I'm the one who just called Gigi a future AOC, so my mind goes to a weird place.
Real,
That's
so
all.
real. Again, we said Andy's gonna be a phenomenal engineer one day.
And and oh, also Maddie how tells Emma how she's using Proxy to do stuff for her, and she's like, what's Proxy? Not what, who? He's that guy who creates wind and rain and whatnot. You mean Diego? Whatever. And so then they stage a fight. They talk about like, hey, this should be my locker as the future stepdaughter of the principal. I should be able to take this. No, I'm the daughter of the principal of the actual I'm the actual daughter of the principal currently. So and this is my locker. You can't just take it from me. And why does the daughter of the principal get this? This is flavoritism. Uh, when you're when my dad marries your mom, that doesn't mean you can just take whatever you want. I already take whatever I want.
It was
But
a good staged fight.
baller line from Maddie. Just wow. Good. Just she knows herself.
Again, these
um
characters do know themselves. I will give them that.
yeah. And but it backfires. They don't respond to this like just they're fighting just like sisters already. This is so good. They're bewitched. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And and so we're in the home stretch. I'm not going to make you late for things. We're almost done. Um,
Okay.
we've been recording for over 2 hours now.
Oh, yay. There was a lot in these two episodes.
I'm going to have my hands full editing this one.
I'm so sorry.
No, this no, it's worth it. It's awesome.
I
This
think
is super great.
this locker scene and the dinner scene were really, really phenomenal in addressing this idea of blended families, even if they, like, if their parents don't end up getting married in the next coming
Mm-hmm.
episodes and they play it off as a joke. I do think that many kids probably looked at this show because divorce is so
Mm-hmm.
high in the States. Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's like 48% of couples get divorced, right?
Mm-hmm. Something insane
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
it rose so highly. Um, and that's not to say like divorce is a bad thing or anything, but it definitely does take
Right.
a psychological effect on a child. And so
Yeah.
these scenes where we see these two characters, it reminds me of me and my stepsister. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
try and sabotage our parents' relationship, but we were devastated hearing like it was the end of the world hearing that our
Yeah.
parents were getting remarried.
Oh
Like
yeah.
what
Oh
do you mean you're
yeah.
getting remarried? Like don't,
And I
like I don't want a new
exactly.
mom, no? And
I was the
so
same way with my stepdad. Yeah.
I think this
Yeah.
show does a really great job in doing it comedically where they represent um blended families in a very realistic light. I
Yeah.
mean, for a show that has some pretty poor acting and pretty poor writing
Huh.
and pretty poor like
Yeah.
production budget, they are addressing some real things with these two characters with Maddie
Mm-hmm.
and Emma. And I really hope personally that their parents do get married, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because
Well,
I
not
want to
if not to each other, to someone better. Yeah.
Yes, because I think that would be such a great thing to address with these characters because it provides representation for the kids watching whose parents are
Mm-hmm.
divorced or even like have lost a parent and this concept.
Yeah. I was gonna say they're not divorced. They're widowed.
Yes, both of them, which yeah.
Yeah.
But this concept of having to reblend families, it's a hard
Mm-hmm.
one. It is a really hard one to address, and I think
Yeah.
kids deserve that representation in media.
Totally. It yeah. There like for all this show's faults, there are like interesting things to pick at, and as we've like gone through in the show, there are like really awesome, funny lines, and like
Yes.
that like you wish like more popular comedy shows would have like finds as like knockout funny as these, you know? Um,
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like just a bunch of the stuff that Sophie says, just like whoa,
Sophie is a whole video essay in herself.
yes,
Yeah.
it's
But back
um
to their fight and the sisters already. Like they're already sisters.
yeah, and yeah, they're sisters, sisters. There were never such devoted sisters. Yeah. Anyway, so so then so Gigi and Daniel are in detention, and her she's there for making an article about the shipping the about the new relationship with the principal involved, the Franciscula article, and she made a she because she didn't have a photo of the two of them together as a couple. She photoshopped one, and it was a I can see why this landed her in detention. That's realistic.
Yeah, also it's one of the most realistic things a high schooler in this show has done.
Yeah,
Like
just
I
do a super shoddy Photoshop job. Yeah.
yeah, also of their teachers. You know, like
Yes.
I remember multiple people in my high school doing that to teachers, though they didn't get caught, so I couldn't say how
Yeah.
detention was for them.
And so, meanwhile, Jax shows up offering to help Emma look for clues. Do you recall what this was about? Uh,
They were trying to figure out who cast the spell on her father. Figured out that he's
oh
under
yeah,
a
yeah,
spell,
right, right.
but they've decided to look for clues around the house.
Yes, yes, that's it. And so so Jax does more of his ways where he's like I'm a wizard and a psychic. I predict that you're gonna trip on your way to the kitchen. Well, Joke's on you. I'm not going to the kitchen. Oh, aren't you? He causes some mischief in the kitchen with the sink, and she goes to fix it, and then he casts a pillow in her path. This is the most awkward, like, intentional, like, actor tripping on something of all time. It's
Yes.
so clunkily edited.
Yeah, it was a little rough. I was like rolling my eyes because it was just a little
Like,
cringy.
it's like the way like her foot was with the pillow. It's like she wouldn't trip like that.
No, not at all. Also, her response to him after she tripped was like a little frustrating too.
Yeah, the way that he like leaned in and grabbed her, it was so awkward, and it's in how
Yeah,
the shots were cut together.
yeah, I'm never recovering from this. Like
Yeah,
it was rough.
this should this should be shown in editing classes. This moment.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The poor editors who had to edit this.
Yeah, sorry whoever you are.
Poor guys.
I'm sure.
They probably only had like the two shots and then the insert of the foot, and they were like, "Well, this is what we can do."
Right, of course. Yeah, as someone who's edited projects and things before, and I talked to one time. I'm sure you remember this, to one of the editors of Barry.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that? Um, he like we like just through experience, you know that sometimes you don't have the material to work with to make it look right.
that's where you gotta just go for it, and then you blame the production.
And like, oh, act like this, and it doesn't look natural, but we're gonna just cut it together the best we can.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
and yeah, so Emma goes to change her clothes. She's like, I'm gonna go change my clothes. Jax is like, why don't you, like, he's about to say, why don't you just cast a spell to change your clothes? And she's like, I'm going to change my clothes, shut up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, all right then, with a smile. And
Miss
then she goes
Girl,
to the
Miss
other room.
Girl has not caught that this man likes her. Like he is over at her house,
Yeah.
hanging out.
Or maybe she's just trying to, like, not see, like make him frustrated with her seemingly not picking up on it in order to, like, ward him away, which is a thing that people do.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
but there was the whole me questioning whether Emma was doing that before, or is even doing that now. Like, it's like you could interpret it either way, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean the character motivation is pretty questionable here on what's going on in her brain.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I don't think the show writers were thinking this deeply about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So while Emma's out of the room, Jax casts a spell on a painting on the wall to turn it into a view of Daniel in detention.
The
Yes,
best
the magic.
the best flat screen TV.
Yes, and it's an interactive TV because he can just interact with it and make stuff happen in real life.
He was predicting the Nintendo Switch before it was a thing.
Oh yes, man, yes, and this is the part where he makes Daniel, just out of spite for Daniel being Emma's object of affection. He makes Daniel mind controlled for a bit to draw a super offensive caricature of Mr. Alonso.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would have transferred schools after that happened. I would have been like, "What did I do?" Like I'd be like, I need a fresh start. Mom, we're moving to Canada, you know?" Like,
Yeah, moving to the Everglades.
"Mom, we need to go because I cannot stay at this school anymore."
That what I just said was foreshadowing that you don't understand yet.
No,
But
what?
anyway,
Ah! That's crazy. What? He moves to the Everglades? No, Daniel.
okay. It's a whole thing. I couldn't explain it properly and briefly now.
No, now I have to go check it out because now I'm curious. Look at what you've
It's
done to me.
he's at the first, like, when we first started this call, you said, I don't know if I'm gonna watch any more of the show. Have you changed that perspective now?
I have to go investigate now. Yes, I will watch another and I will let you know.
Yeah. So, but it'll be a while before this podcast gets to that point.
Oh
So,
goodness.
anyway, so we're so I know you have a thing coming up. We're almost done.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No worries.
okay, okay. So the T3 come over with a fingerprinting kit, um, uh, supposedly, but they just cause a mess. Oh, and Tommy and Robert, Daniel's brothers, eat the love pie.
Oh my gosh.
Um, they stuff their face with the love pie leftovers, and they yeah. So that then we don't get conclusion on that just yet. That's set up for the next episode. Diego helps Maddie in everything. He's like doing her homework and stuff for her and doing whatever she wants. But he starts to grow a backbone when when he's asked to steal someone's homework. Um, I like good on you, Diego.
Let's go,
Um,
Diego, holding his boundaries.
yeah. To reference another Nickelodeon show, go Diego, go.
Yes, yes, Diego. Go, Diego, go. That's so funny.
Yeah. Uh, Proxy, how dare you? But then he stands up for himself a bit. Good job.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
like, my name's Diego, actually.
yeah.
And moves
Uh,
seats. Good on him.
yeah. It's his they call me Mr. Tibbs moment.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah. Yeah.
Then we get the
I
most
won.
poorly shot pool scene.
Yeah. Oh, what more thing I want to reference? There's the part with the scene with Diego and Maddie earlier when he's asked to get the compact. Maddie manipulates him by saying like, "Oh, that girl Ashley, yeah, we borrow stuff from each other all the time. Now get that compact."
Yeah,
And
insane.
he's just like, "Okay."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's crazy.
and but now he's learned his lesson. He's not doing that no more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's setting his boundaries. We love when Diego sets his boundaries.
Heck yeah, he's starting to turn things around. Like before, he was ready to like take some abuse if there was like a chance of her remembering his name. But now he's just like, I'm turning a page. I respect myself now, and
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll see if we'll see how long that holds. Well, or if, I don't know. I haven't watched any further than this in this rewatch, but we'll
Nice.
find out.
But we end
Um,
this episode with something pretty interesting.
Yes, Jax tries out to be the newest shark, and we've heard before his tendency to cheat at sports to come across as more awesome. He casts a spell on himself to make him swim faster, and Andy, with her spell vision goggles, is able to see this.
Yes, yeah.
What? This is probably we're meant to interpret like, oh, this is the first time that she's finding out. Like she did some investigating and found out that he's a wizard without. Yeah, Andy, a smart cookie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
better safe than sorry in bringing those goggles to his tryouts.
yeah, and and um and she explains it to Diego like, oh, they're my newest model of swimming goggles.
Mm.
Yeah. So then that's the cliffhanger we're left on. We're mercifully at the end of these two episodes. Aren't they so packed with stuff?
They really are. There's a lot going on.
This is not the first time I've gone on for like 2.5 hours with someone about episodes. Um,
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked.
and
These seem pretty packed.
yeah, so next up are the episodes The Full Moon and Daniel Who. Anything else you want to say as we end off, Rylee?
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
I think we've said all that we can say right now.
Yeah, no, this was so great. Thank you so much.
Of course, this is the most fun thing ever.
Awesome.
And man, what a way to reconnect with you after all this time.
Yeah, it was
Um,
so great. Thank you.
and I know I sort of like hoisted this upon you, but like, man, there's just so much here. And
Yeah.
um, so next time I'd be glad to be on a podcast to talk about your thing. So,
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much
or
for
of
having me. I will
course
see.
I won't.
Yeah.
So so Everyone take care. Stay safe and follow the EveRe-Watch Way Facebook page. Share it around the show around on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and give it a 5-star review and a like. And yes, everyone have an excellent week. And lastly, best magical wishes.